Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Babylers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with yet another brew review for you guys. You may have noticed that I am not wearing sleeves and my ever so shiny chrome dome is bothered by a red glow. Yes, I have been burned severely. I forgot a hat. It is about 1,000 degrees here. I think we should all go to hell just to chill. But however, time for refreshments. So what do I have in store for you guys today? Apparently something with a lot of condensation, even though it's out of the fridge for just 2 minutes. That is how hot it is here. We have Vicaris NaNo by Dilewyns. Now, we've already talked about Brewery Dilewyns around Dendermonde. They had some lovely lustrum beers, the 15-year, the 20-year celebration. They make an awesome triple gueuse. I don't think that I've reviewed that one before, but I'm a big fan. Great gateway beer. But we'll talk about that a lot more in a later video. We are having the Nano today, and the Nano is referring to the amount of alcohol in the beer being close to 0. Now, it does say alcohol free, but disclaimer, under Belgian law, anything under 0.5 is considered alcohol free or is allowed to put alcohol free on the label. However, they still mention, if I'm not mistaken, that this has alcohol. Yeah, 0.3 ABV. Now, this is a very standard Vicaris bottle, same label, same shape and anything that you can imagine, only orange this time instead of red or blue or green. So typical branded, but Nano, they brand it as a hoppy blonde, and alcohol free is smushed in the corner here. We'll see about that. I've never had it before, but I want to talk a little bit about the name. I am a fan of this brewery. They have great beers. We'll discover together if this is one of them. But Nano, it's a bit of a lame name. Not because, well, the name in itself isn't lame. I would have been perfectly happy with Nano as in a very tiny amount of alcohol. But when researching this beer, I came across their own press release on their website. And it says it's actually a two-parter, NA from non-alcoholic and NO from no alcohol. Really? Did you have like not enough text for the website? I think it's a load of crap, but nonetheless, I do like the name in itself, and I'm sorry to spoil it for you guys as well, but if I have to suffer, so do you. Vicaris NaNo is a non-alcoholic blonde beer with a pleasant hop flavor without compromises, brewed with 2 types of malt and 3 types of hops. Unfortunately, they don't tell us which hops and malts, except for barley, so... And I happen to know that this one is brewed, well, it is brewed at Dilewyns in Dendermonde, but it is brewed with one of those specialty yeasts by Dirk Naudts from the Brewery. He is specialized in very low alcoholic fermentation yeast strains. I think one of the first ones working with that was Brussels Beer Project for their Picobello or Piconova, one of those two, I think Picobello. And this one works with that kind of yeast as well. So, high hopes, and without further ado, let's have a taste. Ooh. Very active. That was a close call. Very, very highly carbonated. Best before date is April 2026, so well within the range. Okay, first off, way paler than I expected. Nice color, very yellow, pale, extremely light, and very, very white foam. A lot, but also a lot of large bubbles due to the fact that, of course, it's almost a gusher. But I wouldn't necessarily say that is a bad thing. We'll see that in a minute. A lot of large bubbles, well, it is a bad thing in the sense that this beer is gonna decay quickly, but apart from that. So very pale, very white foam, thick head of foam, a lot of bubbling going on in there. You know that we love to see that as well. Funny enough, this is exactly the aroma that I expected. Two things here. First off, tropical hops. I am thinking American, I am thinking IPA, however, subtle, light, so not too much. Whether that's because they want to bring balance in the beer or they want to skimp on production costs, I don't know, we'll see that in a second as well. But nonetheless, a very typical non-alcoholic scent, because number two is a slightly acidic, like a by aroma, and an aroma that I would expect only from either white beers, Weizen beers, wheat beers, or non-alcoholic beers. And this does remind me of those Brussels Beer Project beers, the Pico Nova, the Picobello. Unfortunately, my memory is pretty much a sift. I forget a lot, and I love one of those two, and I really don't like the other one, and I have no idea which one of those two that this reminds me of. Nonetheless, I get some tropical fruits, a bit of pineapple, a bit of yellow grapefruit or some zest of grapefruit. Yeah, grapefruit, pineapple, a tiny bit of mango as well. Okay, I'm a bit on the fence about this, so currently for me it's 50-50. So let's see which side of the fence this lands on. Cheers. Okay. First off, initial flavor, it is hoppy, it is bitter, but it is very, very standard 13 a dozen non-alcoholic beer. Secondly, mouthfeel, very thin, slightly carbonated, quite pleasant, absolutely. People always think that when I say thin, it's negative. It's not necessarily negative. But yeah, it is thin, it is quite pleasant, it is refreshing. Back to the flavors, very malty. Of course, when you ferment low alcoholic, a lot of leftover sugars will stay in your beer. And well, brewing low alcohol beers is an art in itself. One that I have not experimented with yet, so mad respect for everyone trying it and doing it well. But yeah, so I get bitterness, hoppy, malty. Now when we go in depth, I get not just the feeling of carbon dioxide, but also that carbon dioxide flavor. And I know people always have questions when I say this, because carbon dioxide is supposed to be an odorless and tasteless and colorless vapor or gas, but it does have a certain taste, a certain distinct reaction on your taste buds, let's say. And the more I try, the more hop I get, the more fruitiness that comes up. It is warming up quite quickly in these temperatures. However, it's not necessarily warm yet, but I do get more aroma right now. And now I get a huge amount of that yellow grapefruit, as expected. Slightly citrusy, a tiny hint of lime, but mainly yellow grapefruit. Still a minuscule bit of pineapple, mango, all gone. I am still at 50-50, honestly. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad either. I think there should have been some sort of hybrid category for when you don't want to call something non-alcoholic beer, but it's also not a lemonade. Yeah, it's like a root beer brew or something like that. I don't know. But this strikes me more as a beery lemonade, let's say. Is it bad? No. Is it great? Absolutely not. It's okay. I think because of the hops and the bitterness, I'm gonna score this a tiny bit higher, but it's still like a 275 in my book. Yeah, it's like 5.5 out of 10. Now, lucky for us, Dilewyns also brews beautiful beers that are not extremely high in alcohol, so we can drink some of those. But when it has to be non-alcoholic, I'm still looking out for other brands, like Van der Streek, still my #1 currently. So yeah, let's see where this goes. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to support this channel, take a look at the Patreon page or just share a video somewhere. We are growing in numbers. Apparently it's going hella fast. So again, thank you for that as well. If you have any questions, suggestions, you'll find my email address down below, or just put something in the comments. If you want to meet up with me when in Antwerp, I am walking through Antwerp more and more, doing beer tours, so again, contact me for that as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.